Fuck business. Why the Brexit Johnson rape of UK business is so Effingham stupid. I'm Mike Cashman. If you find this interesting or useful, please subscribe to the channel. Ask me to talk at your meetings. Fuck business, Boris Johnson said, or was reported to have said, didn't deny it, and in fact more or less indicated that he had said it, and he was aiming to hit back at those who spoke for business. Excuse the language. I don't normally use such language in the videos, but in this case it's necessary in order to convey what Boris Johnson said. He knows the significance of a two-word slogan. Now, I'm not saying that he put this on a bus and drove it up and down the country. He wasn't as blatant as that, but he clearly wanted to convey a message in the meeting where it seems that he made that quote. And what was he wanting to convey? What are the underlying attitudes? There's an easy populist message, by the way, about business, which goes something like this. We are for the ordinary people. We're not here to support the fat cats of business. If that message comes out for the Tories, by the way, it's a lie, because during the pandemic, when the pressure was on, then their priorities were to support the fat cats of business, well, and also some thin cats who became fat cats, thanks to the Tory crony contracts. Their priorities were for business and not for those businesses run by their friends, and not for the ordinary people at all. But anyway, the populist message would go, no, we're not here to support the fat cats of business. We believe in the ordinary people and in things that are important to them, in schools, education, health, the NHS, the countryside, the environment, protection of that, flood defences, care for the elderly, care for children, all these good things. The trouble with that attitude is that it is from business, i.e. one entity or person providing money to another entity or person in return for goods or services, including employment. It's from business that nearly all the taxation that funds all the other things comes from. The little bit of taxation comes from gifts in wills, for example, inheritance tax and gifts near the end of life. But it's nearly all from business. And so if you fuck business, then you have done the same to all those other things. So that's a nonsensical message. But let's look, as I say, at whether what Johnson said, whether he consciously intended it, whether it slipped out. Let's see if that betrays underlying attitudes. I'm certainly not going to ignore it. There are many, many politicians who I can never imagine saying fuck business. In fact, I'm not sure that I can imagine anyone of sort of cabinet rank who would have said that. Is it Johnson's underlying attitude? Well, let's look at the approach that he took to Brexit. Promises of all sorts of consultation, but actually with very little consultation. In other words, we could say with no foreplay, Boris Johnson forced his attentions on business based on supposedly some consent obtained 4 years before that he was relying on, though it's dubious as to whether it was consent to what he was actually doing now. Indulged in an exercise in which the pleasure was entirely Boris Johnson's. Business wasn't rejoicing about it. Daniel Hannan 5 years ago said, we'll look back on this in 5 years' time as we're prospering mightily after Brexit, and we'll wonder why we never did this before, or words to that effect. Sorry, I don't have the exact quote in front of me. That didn't age very well, did it, Daniel Hannan? So, as I say, the pleasure, the benefit was all Boris Johnson's, was not for business at all. And that's why I think the appropriate analogy is to talk about Johnson raping UK business. That's the closest that I can get to it as an analogy. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Please add them in the comments below. Thank you.